Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video here at TrendFX. My name is Josie, I'm founder of TrendFX, and today what we're gonna talk about technical analysis, mainly support and resistance, and how you can use this to implement it in your trading strategy. Okay, so if you don't know what support and resistance are, basically, it's drawing key areas on a price chart to identify within a trend possible areas where there's potential to get in on trades. All right. So as you can see here, this is one example. Let's see if we can get a clear example here for you guys to see. Okay, let's look at 80 CPY for our chart. Let's go back to here. All right. So as you can see over here, guys, right? I have these two areas marked up. So let's just get rid of that right now. Let's just delete all the drawings over there. Alright, so these are support and resistors. Like I said, firstly, what are support and resistors? Well, they're basically marking key areas where you've seen price interact. Alright, okay, and we're going to see what that means in a second. Alright, so what do I mean by areas where price interacts? So as you can see on this chart, firstly, we could see that the trend is clearly to the upside. Alright, price is moving continuously upwards. Okay, now we want to get into this pair, right? We see that we have a clear identifiable trend. Now, how do we get in this particular pair for a trade, right? We want to make some profits. Firstly, you want to note the key areas. Like I said, those are areas where price interacts, all right? So as you can see here, as price continues moving upwards, we have one area right here. Why is this an area, you might ask? Well, guys, as you can see, as price continues moving upwards, we had multiple times it came into this area and tested it. And we have this here, and we have another time right here. Price pulled away from that area, meaning that it pulled back, it moved away from it. Alright, came back, moved away further, came back again, and again, multiple times we had that price coming right into that area. So at that point, what we can see is that for whatever reason, price is having a significantly hard time pushing past this area, meaning that this area right now has some sort of importance to us as traders, right? Technically, it's just displaying that, okay, if prices are continuing higher, as we want to see, looking for a buy position in order to enter the trade, we would like to see price push past that area just so that we could be a little bit more clearer on if we're going to see a continuation with that move, right? If we're going to see price continue pushing up. And as you can see, it came into that area multiple times. We got a push above, which would have been right up here. And then price came back down towards that area, right? So what does this mean as well? Okay, so when you're trading, and one part of technical analysis, when we're looking to enter pairs, any currency pair, while we're trading and we already established what the trend is, we'd like to see a break and retest of that trend, alright? And this also plays in with the support and resistance. So what a break and retest, you might ask? Let's just use an example again. So let's say we had a clearly identifiable trend, right? Price started trending upwards. We had a break above here, right? So we had a break above this area right here. Alright. So once price breaks past that area and it comes up into here, what we'd like to see now is a retest of that previously broken area. Right? When price does this, it gives us more confirmation that a buy is more likely to continue onwards. Alright, so most likely at this point, once we had a pullback into that zone, we start to see price displaying some upward motions to continue moving upwards and even push past the last previous high it made, which would have been somewhere right here. Right? So this is something we would like to see. price coming into that area right here, retesting, right? Basically saying, okay, I've now broken this area of resistance. Let's see if it can hold my weight for me to continue upwards, right? So for us to move upwards, price must hold this area above that broken resistance, right? And once we have a broken resistance and price comes back to retest it, it's now called a support. Okay, so that broken resistance area, this resistance now becomes your support as price continues upwards. Uh, so price comes into this area, we have a retest right here, it rejected from that area, we had a push again above that area. So at that point, we already have two and three major confluences, right? One being, okay, price is in an uptrend, right? Meaning that it's going in an upward motion, meaning there's more buyers than sellers, right? So the likelihood of it continuing upwards is a lot larger than it just breaking and going to the downside. All right. So prices in an uptrend, that's one thing that we note. So confluence. Also, we have a broken resistance area, as well as a retest of that broken resistance slash doing support, right? Because as we said, that new broken resistance now becomes our support as price continue moving upwards. Okay, so we could enter the position something like this, right? Placing our stops below that level of our entry zone, of that zone that we have, and put in our take profit area at least 1 to 2, right? 1 to 2 is the least advisable amount that you should be putting in your trades just to maintain overall profitability, right? But as you can see, we could have let our trade run. It will come all the way up to 4.7% win, right? And as price continues, we could also note another resistance area right around here. Why? Because we've had multiple rejections from that area. Price pulled into it, rejected, again, rejected, and again, and again, again on these wicks right here multiple times, alright? So at that point, that basically indicates that, alright, this area has some sort of significance to it. As we continue with this upward movement, we'd like to see a break above this area now for a better, more clear opportunity to enter long, okay? So let's say we did that, we wait for that break. As you see, price came in here, it pushed higher. We had a retest right here, and then another push above. So we'll enter somewhere right here, put our stops right below that resistance level, right? Resistance to support, and I'll take profit like that. And again, that would have been another clear buy, another clear setup to enter long on this position, right? Vice versa for if it was short, guys. All right. So basically, if it was in a short position, first we'd like to see the trend heading downwards, obviously, all right, as well as seeing those multiple rejections from the support and resistance, right? So as price continues heading downwards, all right, we have something like this, where price goes down. We'd like to see something like this, some levels like this, right? As price continues downwards. So something like this, price comes into here. Alright. Now this would have been a support area. Right? It would first have been a support, now turn into a resistance area. Right? So it's been a support turn into a resistance. At that point, what we'd like to see is multiple rejections from that area of resistance now to just get a clear indication that price is probably most likely going to continue pushing downwards. Alright, So once we see those first few rejections from that area, we could basically build the bias that, okay, we're probably going to see a continuation of price to the downside. Therefore, we could enter sells. And as price continues moving downwards, we'll be able to continue getting on larger and larger positions, basically being able to compound whatever it is that we're building up. All right. So let's look on the chart. Let's see if we can find a pair basically indicating this. I love this pair. It's been kind of trending to the upside. A good one here is ADCHF actually. Alright, so let me just delete these, move these. Alright. So first, as you can see, alright, the trend is clearly heading to the downside, right? From this area, if we go to the daily here, alright, these were the highs on the daily chart. And as you can see on those multiple daily candles, right, price continue moving downwards. If we go to the 4-hour chart here now, right, we're looking for entries at this point. We mark our significant levels. This will have been one at this point of time, because as price continue moving downwards, what we'd like to see now for our sell opportunity to continue going lower would be a break below these areas right here. Alright, so if we have a break below these areas, we now have a clearer opportunity to enter short. As you can see, we had that right here. Price came in, it went up a little bit, then it came down into this area right here, and boom, crashed. Just completely crashed through that area right here. Right, so at that point, price came back up a little bit. We could have entered a trade somewhere around here. Alright, because now we have an indication that, okay, sellers definitely in control of this market, right? There's not much indicating that from this area right here, price is going to start moving back upwards. You're going to see a big pullback, a big retracement, and prices starts going upwards, right? So more than likely, what we're going to see is a continuation to the downside. Alright, so as price pull back, we could have entered the trade somewhere around here, right? At least keeping it turn 1 to 2, something like this would have been reasonable. And as you can see, this will have been a clear win. As it continues moving lower, we have multiple rejections from this area right here, right? Again, price came back up into this resistance zone as well. We'll mark this as another area of key importance, because why? After this break to the downside, we had multiple rejections within that area right here, right? Price came down, pushing below it, so we had a break of that level, indicating that sells are still in control of this market, right? Sells are still optimal. We're probably still going to see a lot more selling from that point. So we have this pullback, this push, sorry, down into this area. Now we wait for that pullback for price to come back into that last previous broken zone, which will have been up here, for another sell setup for continuation, as you can see. And this would have been another win as well. Same thing for this, and this is a live chart right now, right? So this is happening right now as of recording this video, right? Enter sell opportunity somewhere here as price continues moving deep downside. We have those previous broken levels, right? The support broken, turn into resistance as price continues moving downwards. See it a little bit more clear here on the 1 hour, right? So at that point, we could have entered a possible sell right into this area, targeting these support level. Right, if price could possibly push back into here, that would be great. All right, and that's basically it for support and resistance. There's not much to it, but just to implement it. All right, and learning to see different market movements for what they are in order to implement these things. But what you could do right now, if you're new or even if you have a little bit of experience in trading, is enter into the charts and look through these pairs and mark up your key levels. Right, there's multiple pairs that you can see these key levels on. This is, for instance, this one as well. the NZD, this is where it gets kind of tricky, where you have to really be able to analyze the charts to really see where these key levels are at, where it should be at, and how you should draw it up, right? It's really subjective to a lot of traders. Remember, everyone doesn't trade exactly the same. So where I mark up my key levels might be different to another trader, vice versa, right? So what you could do is take some time, put in some practice, go into your trading view, and just look at key levels. Start from the daily, all right? See what the trend is. If you can't see it clearly in the daily, then go to the 4 hour and just mark your levels, all right? And note them. And note what price does at those levels, whether it rejects, it pushes further away from it, just to really get a clear indication of whether you're drawing your support and resistance level clearly enough for you to understand. All right, like I said, we don't trade the same. No two traders are the same, so everyone does things a little bit differently from one another. So it's really good to pay the practice, pay the effort. Um, just saying about something isn't really much if you're not going to implement it and see how it works for you. Alright, same thing goes for this. Understanding where to put your support levels at, looking at those looking at those key important areas for possible trade entries or trade ideas or such. Right? So hopefully you guys found this video informative. Any questions that you have, feel free to message me or even send a message in the comments, right? I read through my comments as well. And please, if you have any ideas for another video or anything like that, also feel free to comment it as well. And I'll try to do my best at getting to it. Alright guys, so thank you for watching to this video. If you make it all the way to the end, I really appreciate it. If you leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you found it very informative, that would be great as well. Peace.